Okay, Shekhar we can start from here. Yeah. Shodishi Kala.
Oh, oh. Sorry, can you show the pointer? I
Yeah,
missed it.
Okay.
Okay, okay, got it. So next nama is yat tat
यत्तत्
pada anubandha.
पदानुबन्धः
Yat tat pada anubandha.
बन्धः
Very interesting nama. Let's try to understand the meaning first. Normally, in any uh, when we make use of language, we have these expressions somewhat differently expressed in different languages. But I think the best is done in yat and tat are the two Sanskrit words for that. In Hindi, the closest that I can think of is jo, wo. So yat means jo or tat means wo.
वो
Okay. So that which yat is that which wo. Okay. I don't know what I should say for wo in English. Anyway. So pada means words. Anubandha means in relation. So yat, tat, pada, anubandha. The meaning of this nama is Devi, who is in the form of relationship between the padas or correlations. Anubandha means correlation. Correlation between the padas in yat and tat. Right? Sometimes the beauty of these namas is it captures some of the most profound ideas in a very simple nama like this. Okay? Um, why I say this is this is actually capturing the entire theory of language. One nama is capturing the entire theory of the language. Okay? Without going too much into details, okay, just for understanding, yat means it is called as a descriptive label in language and cognition. Okay, what are descriptive labels? When you say a red apple or when you say a sweet mango, so we make use of in language the descriptive labels which give some special attributes. That red, that sweet, they're all special attributes. Okay, this is with respect to usage. How does it help in the cognition? In cognition, these specific attributes, they enhance categorization. Okay, allowing the person who hears it to quickly identify patterns and similarities. See, when he says a red apple, okay, so that red is an attribute across various objects. Okay, you could have had red rose, you could have had red cloths. Okay, so you are quickly identifying and categorizing. So the cognition normally is explained as relying on schema. Okay, schema is a mental framework that helps predict and understand the phenomena based on previous associations. Okay, so these yat stands for all the descriptive labels in language. Tat, okay, so sorry, yeah, tat is referring to the relational labels. See, there are only two types of labels in language. Either you describe or you define objects in terms of their connection to other elements. When you define objects in terms of their connection with other element, it is called as relational label. This is something different from direct description. And how does this help? It helps in providing or it structures a kind of an hierarchical reasoning and a sort of a comparative analysis. Say, for example, when you say parent child, the relational label establishes a kind of a conceptual relationship. Okay, so in cognitive action, they help in creating a kind of a relational reasoning which supports understanding abstract concepts. For example, identifying, let's say, how big, okay, sal tree is from a neem tree. Okay, so this establishes a kind of a comparative meaning in cognition. So without relational labels in language, there will be no higher order thinking. Okay, it is only through relational labels we are able to form analogies, we are able to use metaphors and logical connections. So without these, you cannot have a proper structured way of understanding the communication itself. So the entire language process, okay, of language plus cognitive process is based on relational and descriptive labels. So yat, tat, pada. So pada is the words which constitutes the sentence, the basic unit of communication. Anubandha. She is that connectivity. She is that cogency. So she is the one who has established the cogent way of understanding the language, therefore understanding communication. See, normally in our system, we have an opinion that the language is both binding and liberating. The word matrika as a pada, it refers to the letters. Okay. And matrikas are considered to be both binding factors or binding forces, which means binding means makes the person deeply entrenched into the samsara. The same time, matrikas also have the power to release a person from the samsara. The idea is simple. The more and more you are led to believe in whatever you are believing currently, whatever you are thinking is right understanding, okay, you will get more and more entrenched into the world. Similarly, the Shastra Vakyas, which you hear from authoritative masters, acharyas, from your own gurus, they become liberating force. So, understanding language has been one of the most important or a key function in any darshana, in any philosophical system. And the highest or the best form of linguistic understanding has been given by the Trika, okay, which influenced Bhartrhari, who came up with the concept of Vakyapadi. So today, the highest form or the best form of linguistic analysis is something which is contributed by Trika. So the entire thing in a very simple, yes.
Sorry, sorry to interrupt. Just I want to understand when we basically look at from Kashmir Shaivism point of view, the six Pashadadwa, when we say, where we say Varnadwa, Padadwa, and what is
Mantra.
it? Varnadwa,
Pada, mantra.
Mantradwa, right? So these are also like the levels of consciousness, right? Is it linked here with what is written here?
Yes, you can link. See, basically what is an Adva? Adva means a path.
Huh.
Okay. The path of manifestation. When Shiva, who was beyond subject-object bifurcation, decides to become many, how will he become many? Stage one. When you are the sole subject, okay, you can only be one principle. To be many, there has to be a witness, there has to be something that is being witnessed. Okay, so that is the first manifestation of idam.
Correct.
Okay, so aham and idam has to come. When the idam becomes more and more concrete from the abstract. In the first five tattvas, it is very abstract. Then, because of the operation of the Kanchukas, it becomes more concrete by the time it comes to the Ashuddhatva. So, in this process of manifestation, okay, when you understand aham and idam, all right, there is a process, right, where I, the subject, has to witness an object and understand the object. So, in this, we break it down to two levels. One is the denotative aspect. Okay. The other is the denoted aspect. The denotative aspect is the varna, okay, the pada, and the mantra.
Mantra, correct.
In the denoted aspect or the vachaka tattva, we have
Bhuvanattva,
the bhuvana, we
Tattva,
have the tattva, and we have the kala tattva bhuvana.
Kala Tattva,
We have
Kala
kala tattva bhuvana.
Bhuvana.
Each is more and more concrete than the previous. See, kala is subtler, tattva is subtle, bhuvana is gross.
Right.
Similarly, varna is subtler, pada is subtle, mantra is gross. So, there also, there is a relation between the word and the object denoted by the word. Our understanding itself happens in a kind of a cognitive process which you can explain in the terms of linguistics. So linguistic cognition is contribution of children. Whereas Vyakarana and other Shastras, they are very happy with only explaining the morphological processes. They explain how the word is constituted. Okay, what happens when this word gets attached with this? How is this particular word extracted from the root? All that, okay, is more of a derivational process, or we call it as morphology, which the Vyakarana and other Shastras spend their energy upon. But the philosophy of language is something that is the core contribution by the Trika. So, yat tat pada anubandha. Devi, who is in the form of the correlation or cogency of words which are either descriptive labels or relational labels. Next nama is Yakshini.
Yakshini.
Yakshini. Yakshini is, see, there are multiple ways of understanding Yakshini. Normally, and also in different parts of India, the word Yakshini is, when I say India, the larger or the greater India. I extend it all the way up to Southeast Asia. Each geographical area has slightly different understanding of Yakshini. For example, if you go and use the word Yakshini in Kerala, in and around the Malabar region, not just Kerala, that entire western coast region, it denotes a kind of a Kshudra Devata, okay, an inferior form which is normally used by people who have mantra siddhis to get done some very mundane activities, predicting future, doing that errand for him, kind of things. So Yakshini is looked upon as a Kshudra Devata in that particular belt. Whereas if you go towards Tibet, the Buddhist, the entire Mahayana Buddhist and the Vajrayana Buddhist influence wherever is there, Yakshini is a much higher power or a much higher uh, divine entity. When you come to Kashmir and the entire Tantra Parampara which originates in Kashmir, so wherever the Tantra Parampara is followed, the word Yakshini denotes one of the supreme attendants of Devi, or rather, at times she is the form of Devi performing certain functionalities. For example, the Devi who resides in Mooladhara, okay, she is attended upon by a Yakshini. There are 6, I think we saw some of the Yakshinis earlier also. The Dakini, Yakini, Shakini, Lakini, Rakini, and all. They are all called as Yakshinis. So, Yakshini is a very this term Yakshini is understood very differently. Since Bhavani Sahasranama belongs to the Uttaramnaya Kaula Sampradaya, the Nama Yakshini is interpreted in our system to refer to the form of Devi who resides in the Sahasrara Bhakti. In Lalita Sahasranama, the term used is Yakini. Yakini is a kind of a linguistic change of the word Yakshini only. Okay? So, this kind of uh, transformation of the word, okay, does happen. For example, the same word in folk traditions of Andhra, Karnataka, and even part of Tamil Nadu, the Devi is called as Jakkini or Jakkamma. Jakkini or Jakkamma is also same as Yakshini. And that is the highest power, the highest form of Devi, which is what we are saying, her manifestation in the Sahasrara. So what does Devi as Yakshini do? Devi as Yakshini ensures that the identity of oneself as Shiva is complete. That's what happens in the Sahasrara. Okay? All the way up to the Agnya, and even there are some subtler points above Agnya, that identity is progressive. Okay? But it is not full. But it is not full. Whereas in the Sahasrara, the identity becomes established, never to be forgotten. So once you have had the experience of Shivoham, you will continue to live with the same bhavana, but you may also continue to be doing your regular or the routine activities. Hardly you may be distinguishable from the crowd until unless people who have keen observation note the attitude by which you perform the activity. So Yakshini is that aspect of Devi which establishes the recognition of oneself as Shiva and firmly entrenches this, never to be lost or never to be forgotten again. So that is the meaning of Yakshini. Otherwise, like I said, multiple interpretations are there. Yakshas are a kind of an demigods. I don't know if that is the right expression. Okay, it's a kind of an divya categories. Kubera and others are belong to that particular categories. All right.
Dandarchita.
Dhanadarchita. Okay. Having
Dhanadharchita.
talked about Kubera, Kubera is come. So Dhanada means Kubera. Dhanam dadati iti dhanada. One who gives wealth. Dhanada archita. One who is worshipped by the giver of treasures. Right? So I don't know whether such a trend is there uh, in all parts, but I have noticed that there is an increased what to say. There is an increase in number of people who worship or who perform something called the Kubera Puja, right? So this is just to answer to uh, such people that if worshipping Kubera, we do it for sake of ensuring prosperity. What will be the benefits of worshipping Devi, who is who is herself worshipped by Kubera? So Kubera worships Devi. So what will be the benefit of worshipping Devi herself? So all these new trends that we are seeing in the society mostly are driven by um, misinformed or little informed astrologers. Okay. And the people also blindly follow. They don't understand that the older system, the sampradaya, the tradition, was built on certain ideals. That ideals were very, very clear. Okay. By worshipping Devi, you are uh, you are ensured of everything plus wealth. So why would you want only wealth? Anyway, so Dhanadarchita, Devi who is worshipped by the giver of Dhana. Next is
Chitrini,
Chitrini.
Chitrini, Chitramaya cha.
चित्रिणी चित्रमाया च
हाँ,
विचित्रा भुवनेश्वरी
Bhuvaneshwari.
चामुंडा मुंडहस्ता च कोशिश कर रहे हैं
Very good.
हाँ जी
So Chitrini is
चामुंडा
the next Nama.
हाँ चित्रिणी
Chitrini.
Chitra means it's a very peculiar term. Chitra, something unique, indescribable. The word Chitra means something which is unique, something which is indescribable. Now, once again, we should know the context before we interpret the meaning of any particular term. When you take it as a painting, right? Painting is called as a chitram. I think almost every language, it is chitra or some derived form of chitra. So chitram means a painting. Why is it called as chitram? See, there are 6 colors which are identified. Okay. There are 6 colors which are identified. To that, they add a 7th color called chitra. They add a 7th color by name chitra. Chitra is a combination of multiple colors where each color stands out. To understand, if you take a painting may have multiple colors. Okay, it may have multiple colors, multiple shades of the same color. So if someone were to ask, what is the color of your painting? How can we reply to this question? So they devised a method. They said it is chitram. It is a combination of multiple colors. When you say combination of multiple colors, let's not imagine we mix all the colors in one go and get that color. No. Each color is standing out, yet you cannot say that this is the fixed color of this particular object.
Shekaji, we can't hear you.
Chitra. It is because she is beyond description. She is beyond localization of or categorization of into a particular distinct category. You cannot put Devi into any particular category. Okay, so that is why she is beyond the stage of being described by the words itself. Because, like I said, if you have to use a word, you have to have certain description. And what can you best describe? You can describe either a quality or you can describe an action. You cannot describe anything apart from these two. You take any description. You are either describing a quality or you are describing some activity. Okay? So, guna and kriya. She is beyond guna and kriya, which means you cannot have any proper word which can describe her. Now, having said that, how do we find her description in all these texts then, if she is beyond a description? We have all the Moola Agamas, we have all the Tantras, we have Sahasranama. It is describing her. So, if you say it is beyond description, how can you account for all these? Our tradition explains this in a manner that, look, there are two types of pointing out or identifying a particular object. One is by describing its nature and activity. The other is to describe it not directly, but to identify, you use some other relational word and point towards it. The standard example given is, if you are walking and you are inquiring about an address of a house. You are on a street and you are asking a vendor, okay, where does this person's house come? He tells, no, you see that no, the red car parked outside. The house is near that. So what did he do? He used a red car to help you identify the house. But is the red car the description of the house? No. Yet you were able to reach the destination correctly. This is called as tatastha. This is called as tatastha. All the shastras, all the true shastras can at best give tatastha lakshana of Shiva. They cannot give the Swarupa Lakshana of Shiva. Swarupa means its form. Because it is beyond guna and karma, therefore beyond speech and mind. Mind also. Okay? Speech is capturing what the mind can cognize. And for mind's cognition also, you require the guna karma. Okay, and it captures and gives it in the form of speech. So it is beyond the manas and beyond the vak. At the same time, the Shastras help by giving the tatastha. Okay, it will help you reach there, and there, when you reach that destination, you have anubhava to understand the Swarupa. You have the experience to understand the Swarupa. You don't use words to understand the Swarupa. You use your own personal experience to understand the Swarupa. So, to denote this, she is called as Chitrini. Okay? So, she does not, you cannot fit her into any particular bucket of category. She is everything, and yet she is beyond. She is Chitrini. Chitramaya. Huh. Her Maya is also Chitra. Her Maya is also Chitra. Because Maya is a manifestation. We have in our system 2 levels of Maya. Okay. So, her Maya is Chitra because we are saying it causes the contraction, or it causes the Sankocha, which results in Shiva temporarily forgetting his full potency and identifying himself as a limited experiencer. Okay, as a limited experiencer, I am experiencing knowledge, but I consider my knowledge to be incomplete knowledge. Whereas, as a Shiva, I am possessor of the full bloom of knowledge. Like this, the other Kanchikas are also. So, it is very hard to comprehend why this Maya is able to generate this Sankocha, generate this contraction, by which the person completely forgets his true nature. See, normally for our understanding, we use the example of a actor on the stage. Even Shiva Sutra uses that analogy. Okay. The actor on the stage is explainable. See, everywhere, whenever you have an analogy, you cannot stretch the analogy or stretch the example beyond a particular. It only helps us understand one aspect of it. It is not a full representation, 100% representation of the phenomena. Otherwise, it will become identical, right? So, an actor, when he is playing the role on the stage, forgets his real identity. Okay. But that is as long as he is on the stage. It does not take more than getting off the stage to remind who he originally is. I would be the richest man in the town. But if I love stage acting, okay, and I am performing on the stage, I will put on the role of a beggar. Okay. And I may even enact it so effectively. So on the stage, still I don't forget who I am. I am eclipsing that identity with another identity of being a beggar. Okay. So that the audience can fully appreciate, okay, the Vesha, the Bhava, the Bhasha, okay, of the character being portrayed on the stage. So, whereas we are so convinced that we are a Pashu, we are an individual, we are an Anu. Even after reading so much of Shastra Vakyas, we are unable to recollect it as an Anubhava. we have it stored only in the buddhi. Okay, that aham Shiva. So that is the small difference between the example and what it is. So this functioning of Maya, okay, is beyond comprehension. So Devi is called here as Chitra Maya. The next nama is Vichitra. How do you describe, how do you differentiate Chitrini and Vichitra? Vichitra is two ways of looking at the word Vichitra. The word Vi, when it is used as a prefix, it gives a sense of a special form. Okay, a special form of that particular object. Let's take, for example, Sesha. Sesha means whatever is there. Visesha means something special, whatever is there, which is something special. So it is adding positively, okay, to the attribute of that particular object or the description. Similarly, the prefix V is also used to denote stripping away of that particular characteristic in certain words. Okay. Vipapma. Papma means one who has sins. Vipapma means one who is free from sins. So if you see these two words, Visesha and Vipapma, the prefix V is acting, okay, in complete opposite manner in both the words. In Visesha, it is enhancing the quality. In Vipapma, it is denoting complete stripping away of that particular quality. So the word Vichitra can be understood as Visesha Chitra, a kind of an enhancement, or from whom the Chitratva is completely absent, some completely be taken away. Both interpretations work well with Devi. When you call her as Vichitra, one who is endowed with a special form of Chitratva, what we are denoting is Chitra is presence of all, therefore you are unable to put it in any single category, therefore you have to create a separate category for it. A painting you cannot call it as white, you cannot call it as black, you cannot call it as green or red. Therefore, you create another color by name Chitravarna and you put the painting into that particular bucket. Okay. Whereas Devi, okay, is Vichitra. You cannot create a separate bucket like that for her because she is beyond categorization itself. She is beyond the categorization itself, yet she is the one who is bringing forth all the categorization. She is the source of all the categorization. She is the source of all the gunas. She is the source of all the karma. Yet you cannot put her in any of it. So she is Vichitra from that aspect. Stripping away of Chitratva. In that sense, Devi is the pure Vimarshana of the Prakasha. She is the pure reflective awareness of pure consciousness. Okay? So, Shakti cannot be any different from Shiva. Shakti cannot be any different from Shiva, since Shiva is Abhinna, he is one. Shakti is also one. That is why the first and the second tattva, Shiva Shakti, is treated as a single entity, not two different entities. Okay, it is a single entity. Since that oneness is the essence of Shakti, Chitratva as a concept itself does not exist. Because for Chitratvam, Bahu or many, okay, has to be there. Since essentially, as Vimarshana Shakti, she is Eka, she is one, she is Vichitra. She is bereft of Chitrat. I hope I made sense here.
Yeah. Yes, Shikhar.
The next Nama is
Bhuvaneshwari.
Bhuvaneshwari. Bhuvana, okay, the place of Bhoga is Bhuvana. Ishwari, the ruler of the Bhuvanas, the ruler of the entire created cosmos is Bhuvaneshwari. Bhuvaneshwari is one of the, she is counted as one amongst the Dashamahavidyas and kind of things. So, she is the one who presides over the 118 Bhuvanas. At least let us not use 14 Bhuvanas, which is a Pauranika concept. Our Agamic concept is of 118 Bhuvanas. Either we say 118 or we say 224. Okay, 14 Bhuvanas is not our conceptualization. It is not the Tantragama conceptualization. So when we call her as Bhuvaneshwari, she is the Lord of the 118 Bhuvanas. What does that mean? What does that imply? When Shiva decides to become many, okay, it follows a logical sequence. From subject, he differentiates to subject and object. At the same time, the subject and object, if it has to be cognized as a process, it requires certain conditions to be fulfilled. And there are 4 conditions that are described in the Agama, which we have already discussed earlier in other contexts. What is it? For any cognition to take place, you will require yourself as an individual you will require yourself to be identified as an individual, as an Anu. Okay? So how do we do that essentially? You can unmute yourself and we can discuss. So which is the first identification mark for all of us?
That is our body, right?
Exactly. Everything else is
okay. Yes.
Once you have the body, you require faculties of cognition, both internal and external, jnanendriyas and antahkaranas. Third, you will require external objects or internal emotions, okay, for cognition. Fourth, you will require a place for this entire cognitive activity to take place. So our system calls this as Tanu Karana Bhuvana Bhoga. Tanu means body, Karana means instruments, Bhuvana means the place of experience, Bhoga means experience itself. Okay? Or the object of experience. So Tanu Karana Bhuvana Bhoga. It is for this Shiva becomes from Aham to okay to a Nara where he sees Idam distinct from himself.
Yep.
So Bhuvaneshwari is not merely the 108 Bhuvanas or 108 planes of or places of experience. Bhuvana is constituted of Tanu, Karana, Bhoga, okay, which is part of Bhuvana only. Where is my body located? My body is located in some Bhuvana. Where is the Karana located? It is located inside my body. Where is the Bhoga located? It is located in the same Bhuvana. So Bhuvaneshwari is one who is the overlord of the entire process of cognition.
Mhm.
It is through her grace that we will be able to strip ourselves of all the vikalpas that we are associating with the cognitions, so that we will be able to see the aham vimarsha, which is the undercurrent of all the cognitions. And for this, she gives us the various forms of sadhana, whether it is yoga marga, whether it is mantra marga, all these are jnana marga or vichara marga. All these are different margas which helps us to decondition ourselves. So to do that, this bhuvana is required. This bhuvana is required, and she is the Bhuvaneshwari who takes care of all of this. So
Shekhar,
she's
Shekharji,
Bhuvaneshwari.
one question I have. When we speak about like Kaladva or Tatvadva, Tattvas are something which still I can experience. I can experience Tanmatras, I can experience Bhuvana, whatever Panch Mahabhutas or whatever. Even some extent of Kanchukas also, whatever. But when we talk about these 118 Bhuvanas, I do not know where are these. I can only see the Bhuvanas where I am right now. Correct. But why are this is little bit I am not able to understand how are these experienced and what does it mean for a sadhak or a person who is experiencing things.
Okay. So how do we understand Bhuvana? Are we understanding the Bhuvana as some kind of cosmic bodies like planets
Yeah,
or
worlds.
Yeah,
Worlds.
plane. This
worlds
earth
like that?
plane.
Yeah, correct.
Is it
Ah.
this the earth plane?
So if that is the understanding, see, I will tell you one more thing. Okay, this is my personal conviction.
Huh.
I don't require science to substantiate my Siddhanta. Okay, so I am not going to seek a scientific validation for my Siddhantic beliefs.
Right.
But at the same time, the Siddhanta cannot go against the practical reality also. Okay, if the Siddhanta says fire is cool, go and touch, which means it is not practical. Normally, any properly structured Siddhanta will not go against the reality of the world also. So if we have to say that the 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 planetary or the cosmic bodies are the Bhuvanas, how do you justify the number 118?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Shekharji, one question it's coming to my mind that are we multi-dimensional beings?
Okay.
Are we
I
talking
didn't
about
understand the question.
no, these 108 bhuvnas, that means are we existing at the same time in different planes?
Yeah, that was my point also, Shekharji, because if we look at today's quantum world, they also
Yeah,
say
that
that
is,
reality exists at multiple places.
yeah,
Today, quantum physics also tells about something.
about
Just,
multidimensional
yeah,
beings.
we would
Yes.
like to listen to you about this point. What does Shastra say about this 118?
Uh, Shastra does not go into the explanation like how we get in the scientific treatises. Okay.
Ah,
And if you are talking about parallel universe,
correct.
I think you are talking about a concept of a parallel universe.
Yes, yes, yes.
So parallel universe, we have no problem in acknowledging parallel universe. Parallel universe concept is already there in even in Puranas it is there.
Okay.
Okay, even in Puranas, the concept of parallel universe is there. The concept of time dilation is there in the Puranas. We all know the story of Balarama
Yes,
and his
correct,
marriage to
correct.
Revati. It is the best
Mm,
example for time dilation. Okay, so this intergalactic travels, okay, parallel universes, all
mm,
these you will find. See, do we want to latch on to it and say, oh, we knew about this? That's not the point to be made. I am only saying that these concepts are not new to at least a Hindu mind.
mhm.
So a Hindu mind will not be surprised by the idea of a parallel universe. Okay. Whereas an Abrahamic mind will be completely confused and this thing. Because it is defeating the very concept. For them, the world itself came to existence only in 4000 BC.
Mhm.
So the whole science of Jurassic era and all those things, they cannot simply even digest it. Okay. Thinking in terms of million years. All right. So I will tell you what I have understood as bonus.
Hmm.
It's not my personal this thing, but based on certain commentorial references. Okay. I understand the term bhuvanas to be like this. It is not like a planet or even an something like an universe. Okay, it's not strictly uh, uh, location specific body. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Just like Prithvi Tattva is not Earth. Prithvi Tattva, when we speak of the Prithvi as a Tattva, Prithvi is not the Earth. Prithvi Tattva is the solid state. Prithvi Tattva is the solid state. Okay, not the earth. We have confused the application of the words, okay, used in different contexts, and we have formed our own understanding. We, in the sense, some of the people have this understanding.
Hmm.
Similarly, the word bhuvana also, okay, is not in that sense of a planet or else. It is a kind of an ecosystem. Okay, it is a kind of an ecosystem for, see, we are talking of experience, right? We are talking of Tanu, Karana, Bhuvana, Bhoga, okay, with respect to an experience. We have read about, let's say, aquatic life. What is an aquatic life? Aquatic life is normally, we use the term underwater life.
Mm, mm,
Underwater, okay, has certain conditions. Aquatic plants share certain common characteristics. Okay,
yes.
aquatic animals share certain common characteristics. It is all decided by the environment. Okay, the aquatic environment or aquatic sphere there. Okay, which dictates how the body of a plant or an animal should be, how the plant or the animal experiences life in that aquatic sphere. Similarly, we have the terrestrial sphere, we have the xenobiotic sphere, we have xenophytic sphere, we have xenogenic sphere. All these are different types of spheres wherein you have organisms adapting itself, okay, for having the experience in that particular ecosystem. So Bhuvana is probably 108 such possible, okay, ways in which experiences could be had. We are talking of 118 possibilities of having the of a kind of a biosphere or kind of thing. Okay, 118 types of biosphere for experiencing the various objects. This is my understanding based on some references here and there, including in Tarka Sangraha, we have some small hints towards this.
Yeah.
See, otherwise 118 is, even if you are doing a simple stargazing, okay, which we were experts, they will know that there are more than 118 stars in the sky.
Correct. But yes, as you said, I think it is also because what we are also talking about is here about the experiencer, the person who is experiencing this. I think from
Correct.
that point, we will have to see that means he is experiencing
Correct.
the nature or whatever his own objectivity, I can say, in 100 different aspects, different ways.
Correct. Correct. So 118 possible setups in which experience can be had.
Absolutely correct.
Next is Chamunda. We'll start from next class.
Sure, Shekharji. Thank you. I think this was good discussion today.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Shekharji. Thank you.
Thank you so
Rakesh.
much. Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar.